Hi everybody, welcome back to Fox's Best Laid Plans, the planner channel that hopes they remember how this works. Hello, I think I'm back. Let's not make any promises. Today I'm back. Alright. I have been on a long hiatus. If you saw the video, I told you a little bit of stuff that was going on in my life. I am trying to get back. So I did this spread the last week of 2021, and I started this spread the first week of 2022, like the first full week, and I haven't touched my planner since. So I have selected some kits to print, and I think I am going to go back and put some stuff in here, but I haven't done it yet. So you get some blank pages there. Also this week. I'm a week off still. Okay. Wow, that was a lot of time gone by, Fox. Good job. So today it is Monday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. And we're planning the week of Monday the 14th through Sunday the 20th of February in my Gooseby Twins planner. I don't know how to begin again after so much time off of here. So I don't know. So I'm using a kit. This is actually, if you have been around for a year, a kit that I downloaded last year from Design Lovely Studio. I like it, the color scheme a lot, and I just didn't have the mental energy to go through and select a new kit. So here we are. So let's just jump in. Let's just plan like we've been planning all along, right? What's the harm in that? So try to remember what I've told you and what I haven't told you. I don't think I've told you very much. It's been a bad time for depression for Fox Brain and anxiety as well. So we got the double whammy, you know, your two roommates that never actually leave, even though they might sometimes step out for a minute. They're still here. So is there an up and a down to this? I think. Oh boy. Let's start off with a confusing washi tape. Yeah, so my depression and anxiety have been pretty bad. So typically, I am not a January sad person. My mom really has a hard time with actual sad, not just being sad, with seasonal affective disorder, and whenever it's really gloomy in usually like the, you know, December, January, more the January, December at least you got Christmas and New Year's and stuff to look forward to, but she always has a hard time with that. I never have. I have never, not never, but I generally don't. Generally I'm super stoked about the new year and my new planner, and like I'm a fresh start kind of person. I get really excited about Mondays off of work and the first of the month off of work, both off of work. But the fresh start that comes with that, like that's kind of something that I really always like. And so January usually, at least the first couple weeks, I'm like stoked and I'm like pumped about stuff. And this year I just was like, no. And most of it came from work, started with work stress and the super duper volume that we were doing of vaccines at the time. It slowed down a little bit, thankfully. Now we're dealing with the other end of that, which is like straightening out budget, payroll budgets, which is like, I never did this stuff before as a manager. I always had, the last two times that I did this, it's always been front store that handled it, and it's not this time, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this. This is why I didn't want to be manager for the longest time, but here we are. So anyway, the work stress has been really, in January it was really, really, really bad. And so then there was the Omicron surge, which was happening in the Pittsburgh area pretty seriously, especially among pharmacists. There were a lot of people because we were still like doing these high volumes of seeing patients, and people are still like, they're coming in to start their vaccine series and not wearing masks. I don't know. I don't get it. But there was a huge amount of Omicron variant going around Allegheny County, and that was very stressful. So like the things that I was doing in the fall that were like giving me that like stability, like going dancing that was done. There's been no, well, there was dancing this week finally, yay! But there really hasn't been dancing. So it's been a tough balance. And then, as you may remember, in November, the day that my store closed actually, that night, as I was driving home from my final day of that store, my grandma fell and broke her femur. So she actually like did really well through that, and when it made it through surgery, was having a good recovery. And then the first week of December, she got COVID at the nursing home. She was staying at a skilled nursing facility, and she got COVID. Now she was vaxxed and boosted, so it really like wasn't too, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but in the aftermath after that, that did create some issues with her. She had congestive heart failure, and so she had to have like a very kind of like careful balance of meds. She was 96, so a very careful balance of meds to keep fluid off of her because of the CHF, but also not be too hard on her kidneys because 96 and kidney problems, you know, your kidney function declines with age naturally, and then all this other stress on it, you know, that whole thing. So lots of complicating factors, and she was like doing pretty well. And then around the beginning of January, she started to not do so well, and then she was like having CHF symptoms. She was back in the hospital, then she was out of the hospital, then she was in the hospital, and it was just like a up and down roller coaster decline. And then she aspirated. She was back in the skilled nursing facility for a couple nights, and she aspirated, and she got aspiration pneumonia and was hospitalized again, and she passed away. And so that was with my dad. I was so close with my dad, you know. I mean, I was a daddy's girl through and through. I was so close with my dad, but I had a year to prepare. And so we didn't, when my dad was diagnosed, okay, for those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Fox. I talk about grief, and I talk about depression and anxiety, and I plan, and I get into other kinds of messes all my life. So anyway, my dad, if you're new here, my dad, the greatest man who ever lived, not that I'm biased, passed away from small cell lung cancer in August of 2021. He was diagnosed in August of 2020, and he lived about a year after diagnosis, and he passed away August 22nd last year. So I had, well, when he was diagnosed in 2020, we really thought he had like weeks to live because he was in such bad shape at that point. And so I spent this time being like preparing myself and being like, okay, your dad's not gonna make it. What are you gonna do with these last couple weeks that you have him? And then he like bounced back when he was on the chemo and everything was better. And then I was like, I had this time to be like, oh my God, we were granted this extra time. Let me take videos, let me take pictures, let me make them go on vacation. And I took them on 2 trips. We were like, you're going with us and you can't get out of it, you know? I really had like the time, and I felt so grateful for the whole time because it hadn't been promised to me. Also, the men in my dad's family rarely live to be 70, and they usually die, well, until his generation. The men in the generations before his, they died suddenly of aneurysms. So I spent like my whole youth expecting that one day I would either be at home or I'd be at college or whatever. I get a call from my mom saying that dad died suddenly of stroke in his sleep or something like that, you know? I just expected that. So like, in a way, I was better equipped to deal with my grief of losing my dad because I had a whole year of like living in it, and I had all that time, so there was nothing like left unsaid. There was nothing that I felt like, God, I wish I had just spent a little bit more time with my dad. My grandma, this is my mom's mom, she bounced back from everything. She's almost died like so many times in the last like 7 years because of just, she had AFib, she lived alone. She had 2 bowel impactions that like dehydrated her so much that she almost died. Like she did, like every time something bad would happen, she would bounce back, and then she broke her femur, and then she was like, okay, and we went to visit her, and she was like, oh, fine, and everything was okay. So like I don't know. I just kind of was like, oh, well, grandma's back in the hospital, but they'll get her meds sorted out and then she'll be okay. And then I was at work and my mom called me and was like, the doctor called us down here this morning and they only think she has a few hours left. So my mom and I was supposed to write daily BP and I wrote BP daily, whatever. My mom and my aunt were able to stay with her the whole time, so that was good. But I found myself saying like, oh my God, it happened so fast. I can't believe it. Like she was 96, like 90, that's a lot of strain to put through a 96-year-old body, you know, and just, I don't know. So that was really super unexpected to happen in January. And that was less than 6 months after my dad died. And then my store closed in the middle of all that. And then my new store is like, it's getting better day by day, but when we took it over, it was like a huge mess, and it was just like they had random pharmacists in there filling in, and we were trying to get it back on track, and like all of it was just so much. And I was trying to train for this ultra marathon, and like then we had terrible weather all of January. And I know that's like all of those things, and the weather is what fucked you up, but like when you're training for a long run, anybody who's trained for like a half or a full marathon or, you know, anything like that, and you have a running schedule, if you don't stick to your like weekly long runs, it's like very anxiety producing. And early on in your training season, it's like, oh, it's not such a big deal. But my big race was supposed to be on the 26th of February. So like I was getting closer and closer, and we had like every single weekend, it would be like nice during the week sometimes, and then every single weekend it would be ice or snow or ice and snow or bitterly cold and like sub-zero wind chills and like things that are just not good running weather. So like it was making me, running, which is supposed to be one of my mental health outlets, became a mental health stressor. So it was like this combination of things, and I was just like, I need to just like, basically what I wanted to do was just like run out to the desert and disappear, which I did for 4 days. So that did happen, and I didn't post about it, but I don't have it here to show you. I printed the most like beautiful desert neon colored kit to put in here to like go through to go back and don't light anything on Firefox. I left on January 12th and I was gone over a snowstorm. I got delayed an extra day, and I got an extra day in Salton Sea in Palm Springs, so that was nice, unexpectedly. But I did just kind of run away to the desert for a few days, and I came back and I was like, normally when I go to the desert, especially like that, when I'm like, I just need to go to the desert and just get my fucking mind right. When I come back, I'm like, I feel equipped to deal with this now. I feel better. I feel refreshed. I feel like my brain is like back on track. And when I came home, I didn't feel like that. I felt like just trapped and very, I don't even know how to explain it. Just everything was like, you know, when you're stressed and something that would have been a minor thing becomes a major thing. Like you're really, really stressed, and then you have to go to the doctor, and then there's like a traffic accident that there's a car accident that backs traffic up. And like, so then you're late for your doctor's appointment. And like normally that would be like, oh my God, this sucks. But you would call the doctor and be like, hey, I'm running 15 minutes late. The lane's closed. I'm totally stuck on the freeway, whatever. And it would just be like shitty, but you'd get through it. Like something like that can just like melt down your entire day. That's the point that I was like getting to. And I think it became worse in a way after I got home from the desert, instead of it being better like I thought it would, like it usually is, because it put into such clarity how much better I was in the desert and how I felt like myself most of the time in the desert. Now, not entirely, because I was still carrying that anxiety with me, and there was like the bad weather that delayed my flight and like all this stuff. So there was like still stress that I had while I was out there on vacation. It's not like I went away and like escaped it all, because that would be terrific if that happened, but that's not how things work. But it put into this like clarity of like, okay, the real me is still in there, and I was present for some of the desert trip. And that made it seem even so much more significant that I don't have that right now at home. So that's why I stepped back. to just kind of like take one thing off my plate. Like, I don't know, I stopped like running with my friends. I started just running by myself, which was not probably the smartest move, but then it was like one less stress. Like, I don't have to worry about asking people to run a weird time with me because of my work schedule, or I don't have to worry about like what pace I'm going or what distance I'm going. I can just do it on my own, you know? So I kind of just like step back from everybody. I still like texted with a lot of people. I still try to like engage on social media because I had the energy for that, but I didn't really have the energy for anything beyond that. But I'm here to tell you, there's something else. I'm feeling a little better. It's weird. I am feeling a little bit better. It's weird in a good way, but this is my long story, okay? So you just watch me put stickers down, and that's all I have to offer today. Good night. No, just kidding. I'm gonna fill in a little bit. I'm just kind of easing back into this. I have not done this in a while, so I don't know how. Let's see, how many days do I work this week? Let's use these. Yeah, so here's some other stuff that happened. So I went to the desert, and I had a really wonderful time, and I don't know, it was good. I felt good and happy. And then I came home, and then I worked that week, and then 2 weeks after like the desert trip, I was supposed to run this 50K in Ohio, and I have run I did their wood splitter. That was my first 50K ever in 2019, and I loved it, but it was like way better weather, and just a whole bunch of things happened. So like the weather was terrible. It was like a high of 14 degrees, I think, that day, and it was supposed to be a 10K loop, which 10K is like a little over 6.25 miles. And it was supposed to be like all but the 1 mile or 3/4 of a mile on road. And then it would be like 3/4 to 1 mile on trail. So I was like, well, trail in the winter, it was not, I knew this stretch of trail because it's the same stretch they use in wood splitter, and it's not very technical. So like technical trail means like, it's like you could have a single track, which is like there's only room for one person, a single track, lots of rocks and roots and like unevenness, and like you have to really pay attention. That's technical trail, and it's not like that. This stretch is like pretty wide. Like the trail itself is pretty wide. It's not really steep or anything. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like it would be an easy beginner trail to do if you were just getting into trail running when it's good weather. Now, as soon as the leaves fall, trail running becomes a totally different thing, because they can hide, you know, when the leaves are down, that can hide a lot of the like rocks and roots and stuff that you're running over, so it can make it more dangerous. It can make it more slippery, especially if it recently rained. Like, there's a lot of different things to consider. But this time the trails were totally covered in snow, which is okay for a little bit, but not in, you know, it was like, I think it was 5 degrees when the race started, and just completely snow covered. So long story short, instead of it being a 6-mile loop that you would run 5 times, it was a 2-mile loop, and almost all of it was trail. Well, none of it was road. All of it was trail, but a lot of it was like in the woods, in these like big, heavy, like 6 to 8 inches of snow, but all of it was through snow, and it was so cold. And so I ended up getting early stages of frostbite, which is called frost nip, on 2 of my toes. So that was good. So that happened. So I'm still recovering from that, which kind of is like super shitty, because I don't know, I thought it would be done by now. I thought it would be better. I have really slow wound healing sometimes. Like, I really have a decent immune system, but my wound healing is never very good. It's never has been. So I went to a wound clinic. I went to my PCP. She sent me to a wound clinic. They had to like drain the blisters. Oh, sorry, that's gross. Gross warning, it's gross. They had to drain the blisters, and then I have had to do like Epsom salt soaks, which runners do anyway. So it's getting better every day. It's getting a little bit better, and I did my first run yesterday, and it felt pretty good. I'm able to wear regular shoes. For like a whole week I couldn't. I had to wear like slippers to work because I couldn't fit my feet into a regular shoe because it was so swollen and painful. So gradually, day by day, I'm getting better. But that was like a setback I didn't plan on. Basically, when I was out on this trail, I like had this like come to Jesus moment and with myself, like, running has lost its power to help heal your brain, and you can't rely on it anymore for that, and it's just becoming something else that's stressing. So you have to either get to a place where it becomes something helpful again, or you have to just stop running. And so what I decided, I was like, when I get out of here, I'm not going to do Flat Top Mesa, which is what was my goal race. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just drop out. I hadn't actually registered for it because I was like waiting to see how my training panned out in the winter. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. This is my last race. I said, then you know what I'm going to do when I get out of here? I'm going to email my coach. Like I was talking to my coach throughout the race and telling her the conditions, and she was like, stop, just stop. So I ended up stopping at 20K instead of 50K, which most people did. Only 7 people finished the full course, and they were like super fast, gazelle-like humans. So I had been talking to Coach all day, and she was like, yeah, dude, I think you should definitely drop out. And I was like, okay, as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna like email her like my ideas and my thoughts, and I'm gonna be like, look, I need to get to a better place at this, and I want to go back to the basics. I want to just be like running 4 days a week. I want like 1 day of speed work, 1 day of like 3 to 5 miles, and then like my long run and my shakeout on the weekend be like 6 to 10 miles, and that's it each. So I was like, had this plan, and I felt all good, and then like we got into the car, and I went to like, I took my shoes and socks off to put my feet under the vent in the car to warm them up, and it was like the worst pain. It was like gallbladder style levels of pain, like, you know, like the pain scale, it was gallbladder on the pain scale in my feet, and I was like, wow, this is not right. So it was like the decision was made for me, you're taking 2 weeks off of running entirely. So I did my first run yesterday with my girlfriends for Galentine's Day, and I think it went pretty well. Just kept it easy. We did run walk. It was kind of, my foot felt kind of not good the first mile, and then I warmed up and it was okay. So I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the month is going to hold for me in terms of running. So I'm just kind of trying to take it a day at a time and see. And I don't do well with injury. Like the last few times that I've had injuries, I've run through the injuries and I'm just like, oh, I'll go to physical therapy and it'll be fine. And this, I can't really do that because it's actually like, it needs like there's no physical therapy you can do to fix fucked up skin. So anyway, what are we doing with my life? Today is Lila Grace vet appointment. Today is Monday. It's February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. We're doing stuff. We're making stuff happen. Kind of, sort of. Doing the best that we can with the brain that we are given. So that's the update. So I did get frostnip, and I couldn't work out at all for my first workout. Well, I walked dogs on Thursday the 10th. So it was like almost 2 full weeks with no workouts at all. Like I tried to do like some cardio, and my foot was just like, fuck you, we're not doing this. So things that make me happy and build me up and replenish my soul have been kind of off limits right now, which is not good. And yet I'm doing better. I am definitely coming back. I feel myself coming back little by little. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And part of it's because we went dancing on Saturday night. It was the Upstage reunion. If you are new here, the Upstage was this amazing dance club it was around longer than I was able to legally drink, but when I was in college, it was every Thursday night was 80s night, and was it Saturday or Friday? Now I can't fucking remember. It's hanging on my fridge. We have the old picture from the original night. It was Ceremony, which was like the goth night. I didn't go to that one quite as much because I didn't really have any goth friends. It was just me. But we went to 80s night, like as soon as I turned 21, like almost every Thursday we went to 80s night. And it was like one of those places, like, I know I didn't go to college like that long ago. Well, I did. It was like over 20 years ago. Oh my God. Well, 2001 is when I started college. Whoa, that sounds really weird to say. Okay, so I did go to college a long time ago. But when I was in college, like, you couldn't really, it still was like not okay to be a freak or weirdo or different. Like, not that it's necessarily super okay right now. Like, I know people still get bullied. But like, for example, when I was in school, my pharmacy school was 6 years long, and my 5th year of pharmacy school, my best friend and I were like having like boy problems the entire year, and like we just spent all of our time together because we both had like really horrible boyfriends and we were really unhappy, and so we like just spent constantly, we were together, and so people started spreading rumors that we were lesbians, and that was like a bad, like terrible rumor. Like it was we were like very hurt. Like things were different back then. But at the upstage, you could be yourself. Like, not 100%. I'm sure there were bros there that were like, but there really weren't that many. Like, the majority of people who went there were like very open and accepting, and you could be the weird goth kid, and you didn't have to be straight, and you could like be yourself in this like magical little, once you walked up the steps to get, it was like on the 2nd floor, 3rd floor? I think it was on the 2nd floor, and the 3rd floor was Club Laga, which was like the live music venue. So this was like the DJ dance club, and then the live music, I think, was above it on the 3rd floor. It was like once you walked up the steps, it was like, you're safe here. Whoa, I almost set myself on fire. Oh, I'm not safe here. Oh, let's just push that back a little bit. Anyway, it was a safe place to be yourself and be weird and be different and not have to be this, you know, headed down a path of building towards a nuclear family or whatever. I don't know. Like, pharmacy school was really tough in a lot of ways. If you were like, everybody wanted to be like, serious relationship, married, planning for the future, ready to have kids. As soon as like you're gonna just graduate from pharmacy school, get a job, marry your boyfriend, and then start having kids. And like, that wasn't what I wanted. Until I met my husband, I was like, I don't think I'm just not gonna get married. I've never wanted kids. And it felt a lot of pressure to like want that, to be like, you have to fit in, you have to be on this trajectory of a serious relationship, and then you're gonna get married, and then you're gonna have kids, and everybody's straight and goes to church. And that's not me. That's not how I felt like I fit in. And the upstage was a place where like everybody was just like, we're here in this moment and we love this stuff and it doesn't matter, and we're goth and we're weird and we're, you know, probably not gonna have kids. We may never get married. We don't even care. Like, you can let your true self out here. It was like so important to me and such an important part of my like finding myself and finding confidence in myself. And I don't know, this is a long diversion. It closed in 2006. Husband and I did get to go dancing one time after we met there before it closed. And every year now, since 2016, they started doing the Upstage reunion. And it's usually the last Saturday of December. And this year, because of Omicron, it got postponed. And so it was this past Saturday night, the 12th of February. And the first year is always going to be the most special because like people like I haven't seen since college, like came back for it. And the whole place was packed and everybody was like just so alive and energetic. And it's been really good. The only year that it was like, was 2019. I think that was more to do with me and where I was mentally that night than with the actual event itself. The event is always like so wonderful, well put on. The DJs, they bring back the old DJs. They've brought back the old bartenders. Like, it's a portal to that time and place. And it's just like, I went home tonight. And then, you know, like, and that was how it felt again Saturday night. It was like, it was a much smaller crowd because when it's around the holidays, like people who moved away can come back and go to it. So it was a smaller crowd than it normally is. And it's like, I don't know, there's a pandemic and like, you know, it just feels weird to go dancing, even though they like have all these precautions in place. But so it was a little bit different, but it still was like, oh my God, I needed this. Like, we got there at like 9:30 and we were like, we're just gonna probably stay for a little, we'll see how long we stay. And it was like 1:30 and I was like, I don't wanna go home yet, but we should go home. We should get something to eat. Like, I don't know, it was just really good. So that really helped my brain. Like, that put me in such a happy place and I felt like myself. I felt good. So I'm sorry, I'm just talking about my life and my brain, and so I'm not even showing you my plan, so I'm sorry. Okay, this morning Layla had a vet appointment. She just had to get a shot, and then she's been having a lot of issues with dry, itchy skin. So we talked to the vet about that. They want me to start her on this weekly topical called Essential 6. It's like a topical omega-3. So I did order that. So, but otherwise her appointment was fine. I had to film the plan with me, which I'm doing right now. And then I want to edit the plan with me and get it up the same day. What? Let's see. And then I need to do, well, I actually kind of did, I guess, never mind. I already shorted this, my meal plan for the week. So we started using HelloFresh. My friend Taylor has been doing it. They have a new baby. Well, oh my God, he's almost 3 months old. Oh, time. He is 3 months old. He was born like the first week of November, December, January, February. He's over 3 months old, oh my God. Anyway, new baby in the house. She just went back to work after her maternity leave ended. And so she and her husband have been using HelloFresh and they really like it. So she sent me some coupons. So we're doing at least 4 weeks of it. We did our first week and I fucking loved it. I have issues about maybe like the sustainability of it because you're doing so much packaging. But like right now in my life, it's better for me to do that than to keep ordering takeout. So we are in the middle of takeout free February. Also, I should mention that. We were trying to do another month of no takeout like we did in November, which worked really well. It's going well so far, especially with the HelloFresh. So our HelloFresh comes on Wednesday, so I should put that in here. So I did kind of meal plan which nights we're gonna do stuff. We're going out to eat tonight for Valentine's Day, which is weird because I never do that. Normally I don't like to go out on Valentine's Day because the crowds, oh my God, sometimes my writing is just, it's actually this pen. I stand corrected. Now that I'm using this pen, I see that it's the pen and not me. Anyway, I don't usually like to go out on Valentine's Day itself because the crowds really stress me out. But this restaurant that we like, if you remember that we went to back in August, it was shortly after my dad passed, that they did like a tequila dinner there with cocktails and pairings and stuff. We did that and the food was excellent. And that same place is called the High Hold. And it's kind of like, it was one of those old famous Pittsburgh institutions, like restaurants, but before we had like a real restaurant scene, like that in Lamont. But they've like really worked to keep it current. And whoa, if I set something on fire today, y'all, it's my first day back. Just go easy on me, okay? Anyway, so they've really done a lot to like keep their menu current, and they got this new awesome chef who's really great. And so we are gonna go there tonight. We got a reservation. Hopefully it will not be crowded, but we'll see. I think that place, like, I don't know, it attracts like an older crowd, so even if it is kind of crowded, it'll be okay. It's not gonna be like, I just used to like hate when we would try to go to dinner for Valentine's Day, because we would try before, and it would be like all these like young, bro-y, phony feeling dudes taking their girlfriends out because they felt obligated to do that, and they didn't. Like, it was bad vibes. Bad vibes. So, you know me, I'm all about vibe check here. Like, is the vibe off in this place? We can't go. So, we'll see. Tomorrow morning I have to walk the doggies because we're short-handed this week. I walked dogs 2 days last week and 1 day this week. And then I have... So my mom and I are going away next week. I have some stuff written on here that I don't think I'm going to put on here because I don't know. I need to get groceries. I'm going to see, we pass a grocery store on our way home from the High Hold tonight, if I can talk husband into stopping there and letting like me run in real fast unless we're too tired. Otherwise I'll have to go tomorrow. He drives, so I have to like, if he's tired, then we have to go home. But there's some things on here that I'm not going to put in here because I don't know if I'm going to do them. They're just like, I would like to do them if I have time. We'll see. So next week, my mom and I are going away for a long weekend to Phoenix and Sedona. Basically, I was like, listen, you need to get out of here. We're going to the desert. And I didn't think she would like Joshua Tree because it's kind of weird. So I thought maybe like Arizona desert would be like a nice, like, go to the desert, but it's like less weird desert and more like normal desert. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go. So we're going away next week. So I have to like get ready for that this week and get my stuff packed because we're gonna leave actually on Wednesday the 23rd. We were gonna leave on the 24th, but she's very, she gets like motion sickness and she's really afraid of the plane. She hasn't flown since we lived in LA, so whatever, 2007 or 2008. She flew out she and my dad flew out to meet us in LA and stay at our house for a while. So, we wanted to get a nonstop flight. The only nonstop Southwest flight is, it leaves Pittsburgh at 1 p.m., arrives in Phoenix at 4 p.m., and I didn't want like our whole first day to just be travel, and then we get there, and if she's not feeling well, then that like ruins our whole first day of sightseeing. So we're gonna fly out Wednesday, and then all we have to worry about that night is like checking in, getting our rental car, checking into the hotel, and getting something for dinner. And then we have all day Thursday to like enjoy. And we're gonna see the botanical garden. I wanna try to see if we can drive down to Saguaro National Park just to see if the bloom is happening, because they say the poppy bloom starts the last week of February. So just some ideas for the future. You'll hear about that next week. The other thing that I have to do tomorrow is my eyelashes. They're a hot ass mess right now. I don't know what they've been through this week, but they've been through some stuff. Does anybody else get eyelash extensions and feel like no matter what you do in terms of makeup, it's not the right thing? That's how I feel. I don't know why I use this huge thing here, because I have nothing really going on, and so I'm going to use these dramatic large boxes here. So yeah, I very rarely wear makeup anymore, but I did wear makeup to the Upstage reunion because gotta let your goth side has to come out, you know? And so you're not supposed to, like, there's certain things you're not supposed to use certain types of makeup. So I'm really careful about that, but I feel like even still, even just using the appropriate types of makeup, it just kind of is not good for my eyelashes. So I'm glad I'm getting them touched up tomorrow. So eyelashes at 3 p.m. Lakin's silent co-working is tomorrow night. I don't want to miss it. I missed it the last 2 months. So I'm gonna put that on here. I kind of want to run downtown and pick up some. I was gonna get my. I was supposed to do this week my new driver's license and everything with my new. Now that I have my name changed, but I was worried about the flight now that we're flying next week, and I didn't want it to not match my known traveler number. So we'll see. Also, I've been like addicted to reading gossip sites lately, and it's like a real problem. And like I told husband, I was like, why couldn't I have been born rich instead of Nebby? Okay. Should I put my HelloFreshes on here? No, just in case. It arrived a day late last time, so I just want to take a chance. But my plan is we got 4 HelloFresh. So we're going to do that Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then Friday, I think we're going to go out to dinner. And then tonight, like I said, we are going to dinner. So I think that's all that I'm going to put on here. Oh, I do have Check Southwest. I'm going to put that in a little sticker here. I looked at prices on Wednesday last week, and then I asked my mom a question about we were going to go on Thursday out to Phoenix. And I asked her about the Wednesday versus Thursday thing, and then I never heard back from her. So I like dilly-dallied, and then I went last night to go purchase the tickets finally, and they had gone up way in price. So my friend Kristen, who does Southwest all the time, said try back Tuesday and Wednesday this week and see if the price on that flight has dropped, and then we can get credit, which is good. Like, credit is fine because we're flying Southwest out to California in April. Because also, if you're new here, hi, I'm turning 40 in 2022, and I'm trying to do 40 days of travel for my 40th birthday. And I'm spreading it out throughout the year because I couldn't get 40 consecutive days off of work. But we're like 7 or 8 days in right now. So this will be another like 5 days. And then we have California in April. And then we're going to see Dave Matthews Band. I think I'm starting to plan some trips and like feel like Omicron is on like a serious decline in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County now, like it's starting to get under control again. And that's like giving me optimism. And we had like 2 sunny days in the last week, so that's pretty exciting. So, I just used this color I'm gonna use. Pink. So I gotta remind myself to check the Southwest app and see. I guess if the price goes lower, they will give you a flight credit in the amount that it went down. So since we already have 2 other flights with Southwest planned, I only want to fly Southwest now. And they started flying to Palm Springs, which is where the whole fucking Joshua Tree week came from. I was just like sad and scrolling Southwest as one is wont to do in these trying times. And I discovered that they fly to Palm Springs now, which they didn't. They just started doing that last year. Okay, so this is really empty and it'll get filled out. Did I not put our fucking box? Get it together. Probably gonna come home and watch some Olympics unless I fall asleep on the couch. Have y'all been watching the Olympics? I am like obsessed with the Olympics when it's on, and then I just get angry about certain things, but otherwise I'm obsessed. Okay, dinner. It's a 6-course dinner. I mean, like, one's a sorbet course, but you know what I mean. me spell it wrong. I just winged it. I don't know if I spelled it right. But I tried it and I said, you know what? It's 2022. We don't wear bras and we just wing it when it comes to spelling. That's what we do. Okay, so there's the beginnings of my week. Thank you for sticking around and waiting for me. I appreciate it so much. I think I'm back. And don't get your hopes up because that could change. But I think right now I'm back. I'm gonna just start working through the backlog of vlogs. That's the plan. And start working on stuff and putting it out as I finish editing it. And then we'll get back on track when we get back on track. But at least we're back on track with the plan with me is, oh, and I'm gonna film my power sheets tomorrow. I should put that on here too. I'm gonna film my power sheets video tomorrow, but I already put my pens away, so. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate the support. So many people reached out and they were like, hey, dude, you okay? Take your time. Get yourself right. I was like, thank you. Thank you so much, I needed that. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're new here. I, in a typical situation, publish at least 2 videos a week. We'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. Please, 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 please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will see you in my next video.